If Terence Crawford moves up to fight Canelo, it's gonna be a worse fight than fucking Charlo running around Canelo by murder against Crawford. That shit wouldn't happen. They have weight classes for a reason.
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are set to clash around the Cinco de Mayo weekend, and one of the biggest challenges Crawford has to face, aside from his Mexican opponent, is the overwhelming voice of his naysayers. Crawford is no stranger to being doubted, but more than ever before, boxing professionals are pleading with him not to risk his undefeated record by going into a fight that would likely end in a loss for him.
Canelo, they want to see it.
Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo?
Roy Jones, one of the most dominant boxers of his era, remains invested in the careers of the new generation of boxing stars. Among them, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stand out as two of today's best pound-for-pound fighters. The idea of a potential matchup between the two has captured the imagination of boxing fans worldwide.
I think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic, it makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys out.
Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has expressed his interest in facing Canelo, the reigning super middleweight king. However, the weight disparity between the two presents a significant challenge for the American fighter.
Who's time to take over and start beating the guys around him? He's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
In an interview with Mill City Boxing, Jones Jr. shared his perspective on this hypothetical clash. While praising Crawford's talent and skills, the legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. "I like Terence, but I'm going to lean towards Canelo with his size early. But if he lets Terence get into the fight, Terence is going to be a problem. If Terence can deal with the size, he will beat him," Jones said. The role of striking power was also emphasized, with Jones Jr. highlighting Canelo's punching power as a decisive factor.
Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble.
"That's what I'm saying. We don't know until we see Terence get hit, cause we haven't seen him get hit with that power," Jones Jr. said. "That's the deciding factor. If you can change Bud's fight plan, you've got a chance of beating him. But if you can't hurt him, you can't change his fight plan, and you've got problems." This analysis underscores Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power. If Crawford can impose his technical boxing skills and avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could stand a chance of pulling off a historic upset. While the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford remains a dream scenario for fans, Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next bout.
If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, "Okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done."
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets.
International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has been mentioned as a possible opponent. This wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr., though. The Hall of Fame fighter, current promoter, trainer, and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. had earlier shared scenarios in which he saw both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez beating Alvarez. Before going against his former prediction, he began with David Benavidez, saying, "It's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Sometimes, power can intervene and make that a different situation," Jones said in an interview with BoxingScene.com.
Big for Crawford, I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I'd probably rather see him fight.
The problem is Canelo willing to take the risk? "I don't really think he will right now because I don't think he feels like he has a reason to," Jones said. "If he can't hurt Benavidez early in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight." The two-time 168-pound titleist, Benavidez, has been pounding the table for a crack at Alvarez over the last 2 years. Formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, Crawford is open to moving up 2 weight classes for the chance to clash with the Mexican star. Alvarez, meanwhile, maintains that a win against Crawford would do little for his legacy, even though many are giving Crawford a real chance to score the win.
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right.
"Anybody can do it and pull it off. It's Crawford, so you can't tell him no," said Jones. I was the kind of guy that, if someone said they were better than me and if I could get close to your weight, here I come. I gave John Ruiz 33 pounds when I won the heavyweight title in 2003. I didn't care. I wanted to prove that I was pound for pound the best and to do something historic that had never been done. That's probably how Bud feels right now. He wants to do something historic to solidify his legacy in boxing. Who doesn't want to see the pound for pound best from yesterday fight the pound for pound best from today? Who wouldn't want to see that fight? It's a mega fight. If he puts the muscle and weight on, how can you doubt him? One thing's for sure, he's going to go out there and fight, not just collect a paycheck. He's going to go out there and try to win the fight because that's who Bud is. If he carries the weight, it'll be a good fight. He can box just like Floyd Mayweather, and he can also fight. He hits and doesn't get hit. If he can take the punch at that weight, he'll probably win the fight.
I want to see Crawford come up some weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54. You understand?
That fight was done, Crawford and
Crawford won a pound better.
Jones, who fluctuated in weight during the latter half of his career as a 4-division title holder, said Alvarez should continue his career at super middleweight. It's definitely best that Alvarez stays at 168. I didn't understand why he went to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol anyway, said Jones. He had already beaten Sergey Kovalev, who was at the end of his career. Bivol was in the middle of his. They are two different animals. He got the crusher at the right time. Go back down and dominate where you are at. Don't try to fight another one because lightning ain't going to strike twice. Also, former two-weight world champion Andre Ward has voiced his opinion on the potential super fight between Saul, Canelo, Alvarez and Terence Crawford.
Like, I can bet the house on is Bud. Because me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude.
Bud has been targeting Canelo ever since he put in a career-defining performance last year against welterweight rival Errol Spence Jr. Although the Mexican originally dismissed the fight, he recently admitted he would be prepared to defend his super middleweight titles against the naturally smaller man if the money was right. Speaking on the All the Smoke podcast, Ward, who retired with a perfect record of 32 wins from 32 fights, named the two matchups he wants to see most in boxing. I want to see Canelo fighting Terence Crawford or David Benavidez. You got two options, you can go with somebody in your weight class, or you can try and pick on the smaller guy, Terence Crawford.
We so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball.
On the potential Crawford-Canelo clash, his money would be on the man who last fought 3 weight classes lower. I'm not betting against Terence right now, against anybody, Ward says. Talking about the most skilled fighters in the game today, Crawford is someone you can bet your house on. Somebody I can bet the house on is Bud. Me and him are so much alike in our mentality. He's skillful, yes, but his heart and mind are different. There's not a lot of guys like that out there right now. There's a lot of guys that talk it, but until you get in that real fight, I'm not saying a guy you should beat, I'm saying a guy that is a 50-50th matchup, then we don't really know what you're about.
Wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn.
He's different. He's a dog. That's the stuff that gets me out of my seat. It means that when you need to be that guy, you can be that guy. A fighter who famously refers to Terence Crawford as his big brother, Shakur Stevenson, also believes Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez if they ever fought, despite conceding a 14 pounds weight disadvantage to the Mexican superstar. Unlike Charlo, Canelo insists he has no interest in securing a fight with Crawford due to the size factor. However, Stevenson doesn't think it would be a problem for the pound-for-pound king. The former two-weight world champion affirms that skills win fights, not size, and believes Bud has the winning formula with his southpaw stance, excellent movement and solid fundamentals to cause Canelo a real headache.
Canelo. Like I said, I've been saying this. I don't think size win fights. I think skills do. So yeah, I think like being a southpaw with good movement and sharp boxing, it'd be hard for Canelo with that high guard to walk him down and load up on them big hooks. I think Bud would be Canelo.
When speaking about Crawford's next steps to IFL TV, Stevenson said, "Terence Crawford is running things right now. As for who he should face next, I would love to see him go up against Charlo, although Charlo is already lined up against Canelo. I genuinely believe Crawford could beat Canelo. Being a southpaw with good movement and solid boxing, it would be tough for Canelo to walk Crawford down and load up on his powerful hooks. I wish Charlo wasn't fighting against Canelo, but it is what it is. I think Bud could beat Canelo. I would like to see it, just because I know, like I don't think size wins fights. I think skills do."
Who knows? That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no? I'm just saying, man. We can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that.
Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is one of the biggest boxing fights that could be made right now, and with Saudi Arabia's involvement in the sport, it seems more possible than ever. Trainer Robert Garcia spoke about Canelo having an advantage over Crawford and also touched on Crawford's situation, clarifying that if he does not get a fight against Canelo Alvarez soon, the Omaha boxer will surely opt to retire. No, because the way Crawford is doing it is because he knows it's the biggest payday of his life and he'll never maybe get what he could get against Canelo. He's never made what he could make in all his fights combined, Garcia said in an interview with Fight Hype. Crawford is a smart man. He's already achieved everything he wanted. He already did a lot. He doesn't need to challenge himself. He doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. I've talked to him personally, and my feeling is that he wants that big fight against Canelo. And if he doesn't get it, he might never fight again." Garcia added that there are many options for Crawford in the junior middleweight category should he decide to challenge the current champions. The most attractive is World Boxing Council and World Boxing Organization champion, Sebastian Fundora. He could also challenge International Boxing Federation champion, Bakram Murtazaliev. Other potential opponents include Jermell Charlo, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Serhii Bohacek, and Xander Zayas.
No, because the way Crawford is doing it is because he knows it's the biggest payday in his life, and he'll never. Maybe what he could get against Canelo, he's never made in all his fights combined.